she runs through hearts. In the dating game, it's it's pretty brutal, especially in the modern day, compared to what it was like, 20, 30 years ago, even in the 90s. Um, we all know the effect that social media has had on dating, or at least the uh, the shallow level effects that it's had. Um, One of the things that I think is pertinent is the juxtaposition between the male goals and the female goals in terms of the darker aspects of it. Um, a lot of times, guys will be in groups and they'll kind of get joy out of going to a woman and having his way with her. Not, I'm not saying taking advantage of her. I'm saying um, he has his fun times. They have fun times, but maybe that guy lied to her about what his intentions were and things like that. Maybe he didn't lie and he was just really convincing and he had really good charisma and things like that. But after he was done having fun, he bounced, right? So the guys say, "Oh, I ran through that, right?" Or I got probably three or four, kind of like a hunter, but just very cold, no emotion. Just yeah, I ran through that. Um, Now, one thing I would say, the dark counterpart um, to that archetype, to the Chad archetype that just runs through women, is the archetype of um, the seductress, the woman, and this can come in different ways. One of the ways would be like the woman who looks like she's super innocent, but it could also be the woman who is like the IG model or something like that. So, um, just like a guy would run through a woman, run through meaning he has his fun and then he bounces, he's gone. Um, a woman would run through a man's heart. And this interesting thing about this is I don't think that this would be a short term thing, because I think in the short term, I think most women, their goal is to get something out of a guy, whether that's long term commitment or a short term fling. Uh, I think a lot of them are looking for long term, but then there's also a lot looking for short term flings, right? But for the ones looking for long term commitment, um, many times those relationships end abruptly, and the woman is mentally checks out of the relationship months before she ends it. Uh, and the guy is blindsided and he's caught off guard and he's trying to solve it and figure out what happened, right? But by the time he can even get a balance or a steady or try to figure out what's even happening, she's out the door and she's with someone else. Uh, so kind of like now, one thing this will do, obviously, just like the woman, she's blindsided too, because then the guy has his fun, and the woman is kind of projecting, thinking that, oh, he's going to connect to me because I would connect it. I would emotionally connect after this act, right? But then the guy doesn't care. He's just gone. Uh, uh, it's really interesting because the difference between the two, on some levels, is time. Um, Time is the difference, but then also, I guess where the start or the finishing line is. When women get ran through, so to speak, they're not at the emotional start. They're at the emotional start, I think, the starting line. But then men when they get ran through, they're at the emotional. Well, they're in the middle of the race, but then the race abruptly stops. Right? It's really interesting, the contrast between the dark aspects of um, male conquering and female conquering in terms of like the darker goals in dating. Um, but yeah, this is just an intro. Probably going to have a part two, but with a different title. She runs through hearts.